This morning I'm going to show you how to make blueberry scones. They're real easy to make, and I'll show you exactly how I make them. And I don't use a scone mold. A couple of you have asked if I use a scone mold, and I don't. And I'll show you how I do it to get the scones into the 8 actual scones. This recipe does make 8. So for your ingredients, you will need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 6 tablespoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, sifted together, and that's what this is. You'll also need a 1/2 cup or 1 stick of unsalted butter that's been cubed, and it should be chilled. So keep it in your refrigerator until you're ready to use it. You'll also need 1 egg. I do beat the egg and then combine it with 1/2 cup of double cream or heavy whipping cream and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And then you'll need about 1 cup of fresh blueberries. And then for the topping that goes onto the scones after they've been put onto the sheet, the baking sheet, 1 egg and 1 tablespoon of double cream or heavy cream, whipping cream that's been beaten together. That will be brushed on top of the scones. And then finally you'll need about 1 tablespoon of raw sugar. It's large crystal sugar. So that's what this is, and that will be sprinkled on top of the scones after you've put the egg wash on top of the scones. Alright, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to cut in your butter. So you take your chilled butter that's been cubed and put it into your what I like to call the dry portion of your mix. And you just cut them in like this. Make sure you get all the large chunks out. Okay, so this is what your mix should look like after you've cut the butter in. So no piece of butter should be larger than approximately a pea. So it's okay to have little chunks of butter, but make sure they're not larger than a pea. If they are, cut them in. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is we want to combine our wet ingredients with our dry ingredients. So again, this is the 1/2 cup of double cream with the beaten egg and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So you just pour that in like that, and then I like to use a fork to stir and combine the dry with the wet. And I usually like to try to combine as much of the dry as possible. Whatever dry is remaining will be combined using your hands once you put the blueberries in. So try to get as much of the dry to scrape the bottom. Okay, so this is about how much you combine it. So it's very large and crumbly, as you can see. And you don't want to have an actual ball of dough, because then it makes incorporating the blueberries into it impossible. So when it's crumbly like this, that's when you add your blueberries, and then you just start to combine them. So. Okay, so this is the ball of dough, basically. And I like to kind of smooth it out, and I put it onto a surface. This is just a cutting board, but onto a surface that is lightly floured. And what you do is just kind of set it down in the center, and then just kind of start pressing down on it to kind of flatten it out. And then the idea is to have this form it into a square approximately. And just do that by turning and then using the edges of your hand to kind of form it into about a 7 by 7 square, or about an inch high. Alright, so once you have your square, then what you're going to do is you're going to take a knife, and what I like to do is I like to kind of score it first. So just score it diagonally or on each diagonal, and then score it in the middle, like that. And then that'll help you to actually cut them into the triangles. And then once you have your triangles, you then transfer them onto a parchment lined baking sheet. So the triangles come out like that. Okay, so here they are transferred to a parchment lined baking sheet. And now what you do is you're ready to apply the wash, the egg wash. And again, this is 1 egg with 1 tablespoon of heavy whipping cream. And then the last step is you want to dust the top with the large crystalled or large cut raw sugar. And then you put this into a 350-degree oven and bake for exactly 21 minutes. That's how you make fresh blueberry scones. Thanks for watching.